Greetings everyone and welcome in today's PCB webinar. My name is Gezim and I am the Portfolio Manager for IT Security at PCB. Today I will be as an organizer of this webinar and hopefully we will have an interactive webinar with all the questions and your comments. I assume you all know that PCB organizes daily webinar on all our portfolios, and every week we organize a webinar on IT security portfolio covering different topics and areas. In this webinar we will hear about topic check if you are ready for ISMS implementation. And this webinar will be presented from Mr. Jamel Nagati, who is a PCB certified trainer. He is a computer science engineer and also holds many certifications such as HP System Engineer, ISO 27001. And he also has an experience working as a security auditor, consultant and ISMS implementation. We hope this webinar help you understand the ISMS implementation process, and if you have any question, you can write them at any time in question box right-hand control panel, or you can use the option to raise your hand and we will answer to all of them accordingly. Please, Jamel, you may continue.
Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to our webinar organized by PCB. The topic of this webinar is check if you are ready for ISMS implementation. In reality, the basic reason to choose this topic is the experience we got with different managers who would like to implement the ISMS and get certified ISO 27001. But the action seems to be huge for them. It's difficult. It needs a lot of time and money. And so I decided actually to choose this webinar with PCB to make managers and sponsors understand how to check where are they situated in the field of information security. So here is an approach, or this approach is to check whether the company is ready for ISMS implementation or not yet. So here the content of this webinar is the following. The first is what is ISMS on ISO 27001, and here I'm not going to give you a whole presentation about 27001, neither how to implement the ISMS, but just I'm going to give a brief information about the information security management system on ISO 27001, and just to understand how to say the webinar and have a general idea about this topic. So the next is the goal of ISMS 27001 and the objectives we need. Then just a brief difference between the 27001 and 27002. Later we'll see the ISMS implementation benefits in brief. And then we try to see when to plan and how to plan the ISMS. The objective of this webinar is to understand and to get it clear the gap analysis benefits. So for that we have to have a clear idea about the security maturity level, which we are going to explain in this webinar, and we try to choose an example to explain how everyone, either a consultant or inside of the company or the business, can make itself his gap analysis and get the result of the gap analysis without any tools, maybe manually is able to realize his or check his gap analysis. So the result of the gap analysis is a summary of ISO 20002 security benchmark. So it is the result of our, I'll say, auditor of checking or the gap analysis itself. And more than that, we'll just to complete, I would say, the gap analysis of information system. Just a brief idea about the technical audit in order to have a general idea, and I'll say about the information system and the security in I was in a very dedicated scope. So here, just what is ISMS on ISO 27001, and here just only a brief definition. It is ISO 27001, or Information Security Management System, ISMS, is an internationally recognized standard that governs the design, the implementation, the monitoring, the maintenance, the improvements, and certification in the area of information management system, ISMS. So ISO 27001 is not a mandatory law. It has to be clear. It is more of a collection of best practices and necessary practice, proven knowledge related to ISMS. So ISMS 27000 is the formal standard against which organizations may seek independent certification of their ISMS. And ISO 27000 is a top-down information management approach. So here it is the idea to get and to understand more is that it is not mandatory, but the company or the business sometimes is to implement his ISMS because it depends on his customers, his relationship with other companies, depends on his stakeholders, and so on. So there is no law which obliges, I would say, the company to implement an ISO 27001, but it depends on, I would say, the activity of the, I would say, the company itself. So both ISO 27001 and ISO 27002 are together the standards that are used by organizations to implement systems to improve the security of their information and data. And here, in order to understand that the objective of the 27001 or 27002 is not the certification only, but to be safe, to be secure. So here there is approach which are going to explain how to be secure, how to check our security in our company using the 27002 standard. So the goal or the objective of ISMS 27001 together with 27002 is to provide a complex information security management system which deals with all areas of the business that have to do with information, both directly or indirectly. So here, for example, as an example, it is the picture we show there only a sample of affected areas and business functions. The content of the list depends on your situation. So here, either the ISO 27001 and 2 checks the information system in general by layers. there are different layers. So here we see, you see, for example, this picture talks about at least 7 layers. We have the human resource layers. So human resource layers are the person, for example, has to be, I'll say, trained. He must be trained and get the awareness that I'll say human persons or human resources or I'll say personnel have to respect the procedure, the policies and the procedures in the business or the company. The first layer, and it is the main layer and maybe one of the most important layer that we have to check and respect. Then we have here we can see the physical security or the physical layer, like for example the access control, like the power supply, HAVC. It is I say what is called heat, ventilation, and air conditioning, and so on. So the physical security is important too. So the layer, the perimeter, it is depends on, I would say, how we are connected to outside. For example, if firewalls are maintained, are installed, VPN are controlled, and so on. The internal, another layer, it is the internal network. It is the local area network, how it is I would say configured. Are there some VLANs or so on? There is another layer. It is the host layers where we check, I would say, the servers, PC, or I would say if there's a host IPS and the security of hosts in general. It is another layer. Another layer, it is the application. Such application, for example, it is a very simple example is an antivirus, for example, install it, and how it is installed, how it is maintained, how it is executed, and so on. And another layer we can check it in this figure or this picture is the data layer. So how we can use the encryption, we can use the backup, we can use other ways to protect our data. So it is, I would say, the goal of the whole of the standard is the security of our information system, and the scope, of course, chosen by the business or by the company, and so on. So here, just a brief difference between ISO 27001 and 27002. Here is the 27002 is more of a catalog of a list of recommendation and security considerations that deal with particular information security aspects. However, not to confuse, it is a code of practice containing general good practice guidance rather than prescriptive requirements. The extent to which these security recommendations are implemented in your company and employed by your information security management system depends on the size and needs of your business. You are the orchestra of your ISO 27001 compliant ISMS as free to choose whichever specific information security controls are applied to your particular situation. So ISO 27001 is a standard that deals with information security in a broader and bigger picture sense. So here we talk about how to implement, how to monitor, how to maintain, and how continually improve your information security management system. ISO 27001 also provides framework for ISO 27001 certification, which is particularly an audit of your ISMS by a third independent party. ISO 27001 is a strategy, while ISO 27002 is the action plan. And at least we can say that ISO 27 can certify 27001, but 27002 is not to certify it. You cannot certify 27002. It is just a best practice. So ISMS implementation benefits. Just a brief idea too about the benefits. So what happens in your company if vital information gets stolen? Your business or trade secret is revealed. This is the question that managers have to ask themselves. Or your information system does not work. Almost everything business is based on information. But all managers are happy when everything is going on. But if nothing does not work, it means that they cannot act as it needs. Having correct information in the right time is often the source of competitive and advantage. Companies spend large portion of their budgets on information acquisition and management. We can say that information is the most precious asset a company can have today, isn't it? In order to manage and mitigate risks related to working with information and data, you have to implement an information security management system. Once processes are in place, you can have your information security management system and your processes certified. Having an ISO 27001 certified information security management system gives you a great advantage in dealing with your customers and partners because it makes you more credible and trustworthy. This can open the door for mutual data and information exchange with your clients, partners, vendors, and customers. And here, that's why we say that the ISMS is not, or the ISO 27001 as a standard, it's not mandatory. But it is mandatory if you need to implement it because your clients requires it. If your partners, for example, to change with you data or change goods or a relationship, or vendors or customers need and require, I'll say, the ISMS or the certification. So it will be for you as a mandatory because and that's why actually many companies think to implement their ISMS because to anticipate maybe in few years it will be a mandatory. Mandatory means that many partners or vendors or customers say require this standard or require the certification to deal with one or other company. So here it has to be clear. So to plan the ISMS, here is the objective of our webinar. To plan the ISMS, what to do to plan the ISMS? I have to check if my company is ready for ISMS implementation. I have to check the maturity using the systemic approach ISO 27002, okay, for instance, 2013 best practice. But here it is neither mandatory. If you want, you can go directly to ISMS implementation. It's not a problem. But here, as an experience with many people, with managers, with companies, they don't have the idea about the time and money to spend on their ISMS implementation. Okay, can give you, for example, then check for a consultant, external consultant or internal consultant, and maybe this ISMS implementation will take a lot of time. Maybe more than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, even depends on the maturity. So here it is such approach. It's not mandatory exactly for to go to ISMS implementation. It is mandatory, but it is better to start with this approach, because here, for example, to convince your manager, how can you prove to your manager that you have to implement our ISMS? Just to say, I need to implement my ISMS, that's false. No, I have to give him the proof that our system, our formation system, our company, our business is mature. How it is mature, just I check with this best practice. You can look for another best practice, it's not a problem. But the main idea is that I prepare my company for the ISMS implementation, and by the way, I can explain it to my managers who are going to take the decision to go to ISMS implementation and resolve maybe the future problems of the company. So here is this approach based on ISO 27002 version 2013, which encompasses 14 chapters divided into 35 objectives and 114 measures, intended to check if you are ready for information security management system implementation. Okay, pay attention here. We are dealing with a small area. We don't talk about 27001. Later, if we are ready, for example, with 27002, you can implement our ISMS. It's another job. We can, I would say, experience our PDCA cycle. And we can, I would say, later check the context of organization, the leadership, the planning, the support, the operation, the performance evaluation, the improvement, all, I would say, the clauses of the ISO 27001. And later I will find the next A ready for that. So here it is a preparation, and it is the way to convince, I would say, the managers and the sponsors to go to ISMS implementation. But many of managers, as I see, and maybe that you can understand, are, maybe you can say, use the phrase, the word phrase. Why? Because they cannot decide it. They cannot decide it because maybe for them it's very huge. A company certifies 27001, and that's why here, for example, we can see if a company is certified 27000, it is publicated in the whole world and by internet, in I'll say by newspapers and so on, because they are happy as if they are arrived to be certified with a very important and very difficult and very huge system. So here it is the gap analysis. So the gap analysis, I think that the consultants know about it, but here I'm going to talk about another approach of the gap analysis. We use the manual, I'll say, kind of gap analysis. Let's see the gap analysis benefits. Quite possibly the most important benefit of conducting gap analysis is that it identifies a beginning point from which an organization can measure its improvement over time. Additionally, a gap analysis can identify what the organization already does well, thus saving time and money by not fixing something that does. The saying goes, sand broke. Gap analysis can frequently identify capabilities that already exist within an organization, offering the ability to promote these capabilities rather than adopt new ones. It is, in other words, why should I pay a consultant to do what I have already done? Gap analysis can diagnose problems and provide recommendations on how to solve these problems, since it enables long-term planning by setting goals and outlining changes and practices. The ultimate goal of gap analysis is to gain a list of prioritized activities that an organization can complete to move itself closer to its vision and plan the ISMS implementation. This is the goal, as the main, the main goal of the gap analysis. But to make the gap analysis, I have to take some notes to every measure and maybe to every chapter or objective. So I need a model. I need a security maturity level model. So here model depends on the company, depends on the person. You can choose any model you would like to respect. For example, here it is a PSB model that we find it in all the documents. It is a standard model. You can use it from 0 to 5. For example, you can use it from 0 to 4, or from 0 to 100 to 10. It depends on, I'll say, how do you explain and how do you note every level and the maturity level. So here, if we discuss, first of all, say the maturity level, and we suppose that we have from 0 to 5. So here, either the process of the security, is absence. So total absence of identifiable process. So we don't have process, just the company don't need this process. She is not interested in process. So total absence of identifiable process. The company is not aware that this is a problem to be studied. For example, the company does not have an antivirus. For example, the company does not use, I'll say, passwords, and it is not interested for that. So that is not it's not my problem. So here, the process non-existent. So there is no, I'll say, level of security. There is no, I'll say, procedures. So non-existent. We can put 0. So here, just to understand, I pass to the next slide to get an example of the gap analysis. I get, for example, here the ISO 27002. I have the first chapter. It is the information security policy. So here, the information security policy, you have a management direction for information security policy. It is the objective, and the measure is for policies for information security. I have to control a set of policies for information security. Should be definite, approve it by management, publish it, and communicate it to employers and relevant external parties. So it is the control for, I say, policies for information security. Here, I have to check whether there is a document for policies. There is a policy in general in the company. Sometimes we have a policy in the company, but we don't have a document. Here we don't talk about the document. Here, just we talk about the process. Here, the process, if the policy exists, we cannot non-existent. It exists. So we pass to the next point. It is the initial. It is obvious. That means that the process implemented case by case without any method. You don't have any method, and once I need to implement a process, I implement it. Depends on my way. So it is obvious that the company is aware of the existence of the problem. Means that it tries to resolve the problem and need to study it. However, there is no standardized process, but approaches in this direction tend to be applied individually or on a case-by-case basis. There is no global approach organized by the management. If I feel that my company does not have or have the process implemented case by case without any method, I can put one. So I put here one. I could put here one in the notes one. That means that I have an idea about the policy in my company. Maybe here I check say the conformity, whether it is conform or not conformed. One is not conformed, and we can check the criteria. It means that it affects the confidentiality or integrity or the availability of the process. Here the third one is non-standard process in place. This means that processes have been developed to a stage where different people performing the same task are using the same procedures. There is no formal training or communication of standard procedures, and responsibility is left to the individual. It relies heavily on personal knowledge where a probability of error exists. There is a process. The processes are developed, but there is no documentation. It means if I forget the procedures, so I cannot implement. So here it depends on individuals and persons. If someone leaves, the company doesn't have the opportunity to implement what it needs. So there is no document, even though I'll say the process exists. So we can mark 2, or can note 2/5, of course. If the process are documented and communicated. And here is the huge problem of many companies. Many companies respect the security, respect the procedures, respect the policies, but they never document it. They never document because a very huge work. But here the documentations is two kinds of documentation. We have the 3 and the 4. So the 3 is definite. So the procedures have been standardized, documented, and communicated through training sessions. However, their use is left to individual initiative, and it is likely that failures can be detected. Regarding procedures, they are not sophisticated, but formalize existing practices. It means that we formalize just what we practice. If I, for example, copy a directory to my tape every day, so I write down that I copy it, and that's all, folks. There is no best practice. I cannot, for example, check for best practice and document it and use it and respect it, and must be respected by all, for example, the ITs. So the second one is the quantitatively managed. So it means that the process monitors and measure it. It is possible to monitor and measure compliance with procedures and take action where processes appear not to function properly. The processes are constantly improved and correspond to good practice. Automation and the use of tools are still limited or partial. So it means here the process are constantly improved and correspond to good practice. So here it is the note. It is the second kind of documented process. And here you can, if you find that your company responds or answer to this quality of quantitatively managed, so you can put 4. So 4 and even 3 is maturity. You can decide either you as, for example, an IT manager, an IT responsible or a manager, you can decide it whether to improve your process. So here the last one, and it is the ideal one. It is the process is optimized. How is it optimized? So has reached the level of best practices, following a steady improvement in comparison with other organizations. The computer is used as a way to monitor, for example, to integrated workflow, providing tools that improve quality and efficiency and make the company adapt quickly. So here the process is automated and does not depend on, I'll say, persons. I have my documents. My documents are diffused, are improved, are updated, are conserved. So here, like our example, if my policy or the set of policy for information security are definite already, are approved by management, are published and communicated to employers and relevant external parties, and the process is improved all the time, so it's not a problem. I can put 4 or 5. So here I have an idea about the maturity, and the consultant who is going to implement, for example, my ISMS in few months or few, I don't know, few years or something like this, is not going to write down my a new policy. He has already the policy ready. It is already definite, and I say that I have the maturity, but I have to check the review of policies for information security. So here, if we follow the standards, ISO 27002, it guides us to, I'll say, maturity, and to have an idea about, I'll say, our level of maturity. And here is the level of maturity. It is just, I'll say, a summary of all the chapters. I have 14 chapters and 35 objectives and 114 measures. I'm not going to present 114 measures to my manager. So just I get a summary and present this summary to the manager and to say to explain that our model or our business is mature to to start the ISMS implementation. Why? Because I have, for example, my maturity more than 3 or more than 4. But I have it less than 3, for example, so I have to prepare my documents, I have to prepare my procedures, I have to prepare my policies, I have to respect them, I have to practice them. So even as an IT or as responsible in the company, I cannot show such summary to my manager because it's not ready. But if it is ready, it is it reaches, for example, 3 or 4. Of course, it's the best if it reaches 5. 5. So it's I say the opportunity to convince the manager to implement the ISMS. So here we have the 14 chapters. The information security policy must be at least 3 or 4, even if it's not 5. The organization of information security is not difficult to implement, and it's not hard to implement. The human resource security also, so depends only on different actions that the manager has to act to make the maturity better. the asset management, the access control, the cryptography. Here, even for example, there is a process which the company does not need, so it can, for example, eliminate from the process. It's not applicable, for example. So here it depends on only the scope, and depends on the nature of the company or the business. The physical and the environmental security is needed almost in all the activities. The operation security, also communication security, system acquisition, development, and maintenance. Here are some new chapters like the supplier relationships and information security, incident management, which in general it is the problem of many companies, and it is a huge maybe chapter, and which needs a lot of money and time. It is the information security aspects of business continuity management. It means that all what does have a relationship with business continuity, which needs in general money and man-time. So the compliance too is very important. So the compliance, because without compliance you cannot get your ISMS. So here it is the way maybe to act, to check, to audit your system information, and the result of it is to present it to your manager to accept, to go to ISMS implementation and certification, or to delay it to another, to another time. So here, but in this point of view, it's not enough. It's not enough. Why? Because we here respect the ISO 27002, and we check 114 measure, for example. And it can be less than 114 measures, but in order to have a clear idea about, for example, all my system information, we have to check what is called the system information technical audit. It is very important to have an idea about the technical maturity in my company, in my business, and in my scope. Here, just I like to give you an experience, just an experience of the technical audit. It's just we use benchmarks, the checklists, the audit tools, the system configuration analysis to check the vulnerability of the information system components. I have, for example, assets. I have different assets. For example, I have servers, I have firewalls, I have operating systems, I have I'll say the network, I have all what I need in my to treat my information in my business or my works. I have to be clear. I have to be I have to have an idea about all my assets. So here I just I lose some money and some time to check my servers. About the servers, I have to check all of them. Why? Because many, I say, clients or I say PC are connected to my servers. So my servers have to be checked. How are they checked? We can use different levels and layers. First of all, we use the benchmarks. So with checklists, we can understand that my server is secure, is safe or not. So here, for example, the version of it, version, if it is Windows, I don't know, 2000 server, or Windows NT, or XP or something like this. So, and other points that I have to check to guess whether my component or my assets responds to the standard. So if it responds to the standard, so I have to check with other tools, because sometimes when the person uses only his knowledge about the system and it checks, maybe he cannot get the good and I'll say the best answer and the best, I'll say, best result of the audit of the asset of the component. So you can use, for example, tools. It's not necessary maybe to mention tools, but many people know about many different tools. Like we have the free tools, we have the commercial tools, and we can use them to detect all kinds of vulnerabilities in our systems. And so here, as an example, I give it, it is a very simple example as, for example, a weak password. Just I can use a simple tool to verify that I have weak passwords. It means that I have, I can, there are some threats, for example, that one of my, say, one of the users can access to unauthorized directory or information from inside, for example, the business or the company, or from the outside. But even I have to know about it. I have to check it, and maybe I have to, I'll say, to implement and to resolve these this action. For example, by recommendation, just I put the recommendation: implement a strong password. But to implement a strong password, we have best practice, we have procedures, we have more than things. But here is to check really on your system whether it has a strong password, with tests, with checklists, with different tools, and so on. Other example, for example, to present is a firewall or a switch or something like this. So just to check the vulnerability, and just to have an idea about it, and then implement what we need. Maybe if just we have an idea about this, the implementation can be done, for example, on during the ISMS or before the ISMS. Just here in this picture, just to have an idea about the information security components. So in order to have the result, the whole result about our, and the whole idea about our information security, we have to check the procedures, process, and the organizational security. Then have to check the human resource. Then the security or the physical security, and then the technical security of all my assets or my IS components. So the result of both of those actions are to be presented to my managers in order to say to get to ISMS implementation or not to get to ISMS implementation. Depends on my maturity and the job I have to make. Here I just remind that it's just an approach. So here it is an idea. It is, you can get it as if you can leave it, but the experience gives, or the experience, for example, of many of our the companies, we know that when a company, for example, make an audit or a gap analysis, as I'm just explaining now, and it has an idea about its maturity, the business can decide it. Can decide it to implement and can be certified. But here is to understand that the objective not only the certification, but it is the security too. So the certification and the security all together. Here is in general what I'd like to explain during this presentation. I don't know whether I satisfied or not, or did you understand what I am talking about?
Okay,
so
thank
here, Gezim, if you want, I give you say.
Yeah, thank you, Jamel, for your presentation. Yes, we do have a few questions. We have one person that raised a hand and want to ask a question by sound, so we will unmute the microphone and we will be able to make a question. Okay, Sue, you can go on with your question. Okay, so we will go on with the next question. Next question asks, is it necessary for management to participate in the implementation? If yes, what are the necessary actions from management?
The management is not to, I'll say, to participate in the ISMS implementation, or because he is a manager, he has to decide whether to implement or not. Does not have the time for that. Maybe you can explain or give an idea about, I'll say, the strategy of the business or the company, but in general is not to participate, I'll say, actively in, I'll say, the SMS implementation. Here is other responsibles or other managers of the information security who are going to who are to deal with the ISMS implementation.
Okay, thank you, Jamel, for your answer. So, due to the time limitation, we won't be able to answer to the remaining question, but we will make sure to send you an answer by email. So, thank you, Jamel, for sharing this highly informative presentation, and also want to thank all the attendees for joining us live today. I believe they had a chance to learn new things today. And I suggest you to take time and see our future webinars that we will be hosting. For your information, next Wednesday we will host a webinar topic which is called Penetration Test or Vulnerability Assessment. Which do you need and what are you getting? You can also take time and visit our website www.pcb.com on the webinars section to register for our future webinars. Thank you once again and hope to meet you soon in our future webinars.
Okay, bye.